Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. It's time for Owin's Field Report, sponsored by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Now, like always, we're going to have the info that you want as far as fish counts and river levels here in just a second, so be patient. I got a couple of reports to get out there. For myself, I got lucky this year. How about you? I hope that you already went and saw, if you did draw your tags here in Oregon. For you in Washington, I'm not sure exactly how that all works out. But at least for us down here, it came out this week, our tags, what you got, what you didn't get for a lot of folks. A lot of people, much like myself, 99% of the time crying the blues, but somehow I got kicked off the no draw list. I actually drew three of my four draws that I put in for. The other two don't really count because there's just no way I'm going to draw those. But I always put in for 6, and I got lucky, right? I actually got both my bow tags and my bonus deer tag. I'm super excited about that. Now it's all about getting... I haven't drawn the bow back since my last report, but I've been working on it every day for the last week. And things are looking a lot better, thank goodness. Sucks getting old. But those are out. Hopefully you found that out. And if you did draw, congratulations. Start planning now because it's going to be right around the corner. I mean, we're looking at July, which gets you August, which gets you September. And then for me, I'm looking forward to October as well. Anyway, so hopefully you got that. And if you did, again, congrats and good luck on your hunt this year. Also, went out and chased steelhead for the first time this year. And my favorite way of doing it, if I could chase everything, and I probably should, with a rod holder in the sand and a bell, that's my favorite thing. Chase some steelhead this week. Of course, we're out there trying to catch whatever might grab. Admittingly, though, I was actually kind of hoping for a sockeye. I did not realize, because everything changes so fast, thank goodness for Mr. Bill Monroe Jr., that doesn't open up until tomorrow. But I did get a little success. I got this nice little summer steelhead, spin glow, and a coon shrimp like most everyone. I think what the question is going to be here, that edge rod, yes, that's my plunker. And forgive me, I don't recall the model number on that rod, but it's the heavier of the 3 versions. It's just way too much stick for summer steelhead. I need to get one of the lighter versions for steelhead and sockeye fishing. But still, great setup, and I love that rod holder from Coldwater Strong. We're actually going to have Ken in here this upcoming weekend to talk specifically about plunking for steelhead and sockeye. And that rod holder, even my buddies are like, oh, what is that crazy thing? Awesome, period. Just the coolest. Anything for rocks and sand is the thing. I fell in love with that in just a couple of minutes, really. Anyway, so overall, it wasn't great in the area that we were in. We saw some fish caught, but that's how it's been on the Columbia when you're talking about salmon fishing. It seems like the lower you are in the system, it's been an anchor show, the better off you are, or better odds you have of getting your Chinook, right? And this is nothing new for summer Chinook in the Columbia. When they get to a certain area, in that Columbia system, and that could be around the mouth of the Cowlitz or somewhere in that zone, they just turn on the afterburners and whoo, go right up to the dam. So it seems like the lower you are, the more consistent the fishing has been, and for certain, the steelhead fishing, mainly because of the tributaries that are down there. Not a lot of steelhead going over the dam, and we'll show you those numbers here in just a little bit. But overall, fishing has been decent the last couple of days on the Willamette, down in the head of the channel area. We're going to get a live report from there in just a little bit from Nick. But if somebody were going to like, hey, listen, I want to go out and have my best opportunity to catch a Chinook right now, I'm going to say it's that lower that lower Willamette, because there's been a crossover. You're getting springers that are actually making their way into the Willamette on purpose. But then you get a little bit of a crossover, some of those summers that kind of poke their head in, and of course some of the springers that are intending to go up over the dam as well. So it's just kind of a crossover area. So it's been interesting. We'll find out from Nick in a little bit how things are going real time this morning. But let's take a look at fish counts just to give you a full-blown idea what's going on there. And it's not bad news. I mean, in the end, the Willamette is not looking good. You do not want to look at the 10-year average. I'm just going to tell it to you that way. But to see the numbers starting to ramp up like they were, or like they are, and then doubling basically-ish at 409, it's a good sign that the fish are throughout the system. But you have to understand, the closer they get to the falls, the quicker they're moving. I mean, they want to get above it. It's the middle of June. By the time they make it up there, they want to get through. Oh, and questions are coming in about grass in the river, and it's starting to get a little interesting. It's making shad fishing a little bit more difficult, and it doesn't help when you're talking about chasing Chinook either. Nice to see the numbers for steelhead to be up where they are, though. Let's take a look at Bonneville Dam. You can see that the numbers also have been going up. It was about 900 to a grand that has been the average for the last couple of weeks. Yeah, and it's nice to see that number go up to 2, right? So there's certainly some fish that are in the river. I will say this, though, the reason why you're seeing, at least in my estimation, when you see those numbers on the 8th around 900 and now at the 14th, they're close to 2,100. Again, those fish are just flying through the system. They're just making their way up and they're crossing. So keep that in mind. One of the reasons why anchor fishing is so more consistent is you're letting them come to you. River levels, though, nothing too exciting there. In the end, you know, if you're going to be on the Columbia, you absolutely have to play the tide. If you're going to be plunking, you need to play the tide, because on the incoming, pretty much anywhere that you're going to spend your time, it will turn the river around. Willamette, of course, at the falls, same thing. Clarity is not an issue. It's also, I would say, just too darn clear. But in the end, if you take a look at the Columbia, it's all basically the same look as what you're seeing on the Willamette, and those tides will turn it around. Pretty simple. Turbidity there, I like that a little bit better. It's in the 6s. It's very, very similar to the gauge on the Willamette. But don't forget, bug them, please. Send them multiple emails. Give him a hard time. I know I say it a lot, and there's a reason for that. He catches too many fish. Jason at Procure, you'll be entered in to win that weekly prize pack. And yes, it's a real thing. So make sure you send that in, and hopefully you have that chance to win that salmon prize pack from Procure. But let's find out what this weather's going to really do. And this morning when I got out to my Silverado, I was so happy to see that it was soaking. I mean, it was raining pretty hard last night.
And then look at this. I mean,
yes.
Is it October, November, or June? I don't know. I can't tell by looking at that. It's great to see some snow up on the mountain, but for those of you that are curious or wondering, that snow level's right around 4,500 feet and really not dropping anything below that with this system. This is a colder system coming out of the Gulf of Alaska, unlike the rain that we saw at the beginning of the month, which was coming out of the subtropics from Hawaii. So it was a warmer rain. That's why the snow levels were so high. This one's a colder rain, so it's dropped the snow levels down, and then this ridge starts building in that I'll show you that takes them right up through the roof, those snow levels, and gets us back to summertime conditions. Breaks in the clouds and then some showers, so nothing like we had overnight into the early hours of the morning. Things are starting to already break up, and you can see all of the sun between these cells of showers that come through. Then we get to 3 o'clock, the showers back off even more. We go overnight, we get back into tomorrow morning, a few showers anticipated through the day, not nearly what we had this morning or today, and then maybe a few lingering showers into Monday before that ridge and everything starts to change and transition going in to Tuesday, Wednesday. Accumulation-wise, as I mentioned, you can see some this afternoon, then you see a long break, then you see some tomorrow afternoon, then you see a little break, some Monday morning, and then we should be dry from that point. Here we're seeing about 0.2 of an inch of rain. That upper level pattern, this is that trough that's dropped in, that cool one that's coming out of the Gulf of Alaska, and then once we get to Wednesday, you start to see this high pressure building in. It's just ever so slowly, so we have to keep our eye on this, because if it doesn't want to build up, if it wants to stay down, it could let that in. But at this point, it looks like it's warming up, which means we could be into the upper 80s by next Friday.
A little bit of snow in the middle of June up on the mountain. That's just nothing but good news. And then right back to summertime.
I think it's good. And there's quite a few of us who, I love the snow, but I know it's best in the mountain.
Absolutely. No question. Katie, thank you very much. Have a great Saturday. All right, everyone, we're going to cut to a break. When we come back, hold on. Do I have time to take Howard's call? Okay, let's take... I'm begging here. Let's take Howard. Howard's from Vancouver. He's got a question about catfishing. Howard, I'll do my best. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm looking for any kind of fishery in the Pacific Northwest. I'm retired. I'm willing to travel. I'm looking to try to find a place where I could fish for blue channel cat.
Blue channel cat. Well, I'll put it this way. The best fishing that you're going to find, at least that I would say, here in the Northwest is going to be on the lower John Day River. Or all the way over in the Oxbow area on the Snake River. Those are two areas that are very, very productive, and I say that because they're very accessible. It's a boat fishery for the John Day fishery, and you can fish from the bank over there on the Snake in that Oxbow area. What I would say is if you do travel over there towards the Snake, that's a destination. That's a place that you're going to go every single year. Once you get there and kind of figure some of the things out, it's an amazing fishery, let alone for bass and crappie, but the catfishing is phenomenal. On the John Day, in that lower section, which is very, very accessible, that's also some of the best catfishing around. It all falls, of course, down to conditions, river level, clarity. The dirtier it is, the better it is, at least in my opinion, for catfishing. But those are the two. I mean, if I was going to say, if you want to explore, you're retired, you got the time, I would learn those two sections and spend the time to do it the right way, and they will both be destinations for you in the big picture of things. There are other areas that you can find that are smaller, but as far as just being consistent, numbers of fish, size of fish, and quality of the fish, which is very important, those are the two that I'd recommend offhand. Howard, I hope that it helps in some way. Congratulations on being retired, my friend, and send some photos in. We'd love to be able to show you off. All right, we're going to cut to a break. When we come back, I've got Nick Saba from Willamette Dirty Derby, right? This is a month-long derby going on the Willamette system. We highlighted this a couple of weeks ago with Nick. Super cool opportunity to participate in the derby, have a little bit of fun, maybe win something, but the bragging rights would also be pretty cool as well. We'll be back with Nick in just a couple minutes.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by P-Line, because we fish, by Hawken Fishing, perfection in fishing gear, and by Haxton's Canvas and Upholstery, the trusted name of the Pacific Northwest.